The first thing people always notice about my father is his voice. It carries. It fills space. It assumes agreement. The engagement party was held in the private hall of his firm's office building, marble floors, soft gold lighting, servers moving like choreography. My name was printed on tall cream cards near the entrance, but the evening didn't feel like it belonged to me. It felt like one of his client appreciation events with better catering. He insisted on hosting it. It's important, he'd said. People should see stability. I understood what that meant. Appearances first, feelings later. I had grown up inside those appearances. My fiancé, Samir, squeezed my hand as the champagne began circulating. He was nervous in the way decent men are when they step into rooms built by other people's power. He had met my father only a handful of times. Each interaction had been polite, controlled, calculated. When my father stood to give the toast, the room quieted automatically. That's what influence does, it edits the air. He smiled, one hand resting lightly on his glass. To my daughter, he began, warmth coating each word. Who finally found a man desperate enough. Laughter. Immediate. Reflexive. Not loud but sufficient. I felt Samir's muscles tighten beside me. He started to rise. I placed my hand on his forearm and pressed down gently. It wasn't denial. It was timing. Because the joke wasn't new. Variations of it had followed me since I was 19. Too stubborn. Too independent. Too opinionated. Men wouldn't tolerate it. Men wouldn't choose it. He always framed it as humor. Humor that placed me slightly beneath him, where I belonged. The room expected me to blush, to roll my eyes, to signal that I understood my position in the hierarchy of affection. Instead, I stood. My heels clicked once against the marble. The sound felt louder than the laughter. My father was still smiling when I reached the front. He assumed I was about to reciprocate gratitude. Perhaps a playful rebuttal, something charming. I set my laptop on the podium. There is a particular kind of silence that arrives before people understand why they are quiet. I opened one file. The document filled the projector screen behind me, crisp, official, unambiguous. An amendment to the partnership agreement finalized 8 months ago. Most guests wouldn't recognize its significance, but one person would. I didn't look at my father. I looked at Mr. Khalid, his business partner of 12 years. He had once treated me like an intern, kind, but dismissive. He assumed I didn't understand the mechanics of the firm. Few people realized I'd handled compliance documentation quietly for the last 3 years. I only want to read one clause, I said. My voice surprised me. Even. Measured. I read it slowly. The section detailing how certain liabilities, if triggered, would transfer disproportionately to the secondary partner, a restructuring designed to insulate primary ownership from risk exposure during ongoing litigation. Legally drafted. Strategically executed. Concealed. Mr. Khalid's glass slipped from his hand before I finished a paragraph. It didn't shatter dramatically. It tipped, struck the table edge, and rolled, spilling champagne across white linen. He wasn't looking at the screen anymore. He was looking at my father. Is this accurate? He asked. My father's smile had not yet fully disappeared, but it was thinning. It's procedural, he said smoothly. Temporary risk management. Without disclosure, Mr. Khalid's voice had changed. The warmth was gone. You shifted personal exposure. The room had stopped pretending this was part of the celebration. I closed the laptop. I didn't elaborate. I didn't accuse. I didn't mention that I'd discovered the amendment during routine document review weeks ago, or that I had confirmed its implications with an independent attorney, or that I had waited. Because this moment was not about destroying him. It was about refusing to be positioned beneath him again. Mr. Khalid straightened. I will be consulting my counsel immediately. Effective tonight. All pending transactions are suspended until this is clarified. That was the shift. Not shouting, not scandal. Authority recognizing consequence. Several guests quietly stepped away. Conversations fractured into tight murmurs. The party's polished surface had cracked, not explosively, but irrevocably. My father finally looked at me. There are many kinds of anger. His wasn't explosive. It was calculating. Assessing damage. You chose tonight? He asked quietly. I chose when you did, I replied. There was no tremor in my hands. I had rehearsed neither the line nor the posture. But I had rehearsed a decision. Samir joined me at the front, not to defend, just to stand. My father turned back toward his partner, already shifting into negotiation mode. Damage control. Explanation. Spin. But something fundamental had changed. Not in the contract that would be litigated. Not in the room that would recover. In me. For years, my father's humor had functioned as governance, a reminder that he controlled the narrative, that my worth was adjustable depending on audience. Tonight, he had attempted it again. Only this time, I had brought documentation. The servers began quietly clearing untouched plates. Guests made polite exits. No one acknowledged what had happened directly, but no one laughed again. Outside, the night air felt clean. Samir waited until we were in the car before speaking. How long have you known? Long enough, I said. Are you okay? I considered that carefully. I did not feel victorious. My chest wasn't swelling with triumph. There was no cinematic satisfaction. There was grief, because exposure has cost. There would be no easy Sunday lunches after this. No soft reconciliation built on avoidance. But beneath the grief was steadiness. Yes, I said finally. I think I am. Behind us, the building lights remained on. Conversations would continue upstairs, legal ones now. For the first time in my life, my father had been forced into a room where charm was insufficient, and I had walked into it without flinching. The engagement party did not end with applause. It ended with clarity, and that was enough.